structure for, except for, and besides. Now there's quite a few things we have to go through in terms of structure for these two grammar points. They're very, very flexible and they're really good for adding emphasis. Let's have a look at what I mean. Let's start with except for. Except for can be used at the beginning or in the middle of a sentence. The part at the end carries the emphasis of the sentence. So the part at the end is usually stronger and it makes more of an impression on the listener. Have a look at what I mean just below. In the two examples below, we are expressing the same thing, but the emphasis has changed. Have a look at the first example. Except for your hair, you look really smart. So as you can see, the emphasis is on the second clause. You look really smart. We're trying to say, even though your hair looks a bit messy, you look really smart. Our general meaning is that you look smart. Remember, except for means not including. So the person is saying, not including your hair, you look really smart, because the person's hair is probably messy or doesn't look so good at the moment. But the overall emphasis is, you look really smart. However, look at the second example. You look really smart except for your hair. Now the emphasis remains on the second part of the sentence, but we've swapped the two clauses. Now we're emphasizing that your hair looks quite bad. That's the main message of the sentence. So even though you look smart, your hair looks quite bad. That's what the person is trying to convey. So the second part of the sentence carries the most weight. You can see by moving the clauses around, you can change the general feel of the sentence, the feeling of your message. So make sure you keep that in mind. Depending on how you structured that previous sentence, you could be focusing on the person's messy hair, or you could be focusing on the fact that they look really smart. So just keep that in mind. Be aware of this feature. Now let's look at besides. Besides can be used at the beginning or in the middle of a sentence, but most commonly at the beginning. The last part of the sentence, like before, carries the emphasis. So look at the example below. Besides being an inventor and a scientist, Leonardo da Vinci was a wonderful artist. The part of this sentence that carries the most weight is the last part, the second clause, which is underlined. So we're trying to say, including being an inventor and a scientist, so that was true about Da Vinci. Mainly I'm trying to say he was a fantastic artist. So with besides, we usually use it at the beginning of a sentence, and the last part of the sentence, the second clause, carries the emphasis. This is the part that you really want to convey. This is the main point of your message. So that's how we can maneuver the clauses for emphasis. But how do we actually structure except for and besides? Let's have a look now. we have a choice of using either a noun or an ing verb with except for. So the structure is except for plus a noun or an ing verb. Look at the two examples below. The first one includes a noun. Except for the rather small kitchen, the new house is perfect. Here we have except for plus the noun kitchen. Rather small is just modifying the noun. So this speaker is trying to say the house is all perfect, not including the small kitchen. And remember, the emphasis is on the second part of the sentence. The new house is perfect. So this speaker's main message is the house is fantastic. It's perfect. Now look at the second example. This includes an ing verb. Except for walking to work, I don't do much exercise. Here we have except for plus the ing verb, walking. And again notice the second part of the sentence carries the emphasis. So his main message is that actually I don't do a lot of exercise. And besides is exactly the same. We can use either a noun or an ing verb. For example, besides Peter, I would say Lee and Phil are my closest friends. This person is saying, I know Peter is a very close friend, so including him, Lee and Phil are my close friends. And the second example reads, besides having a beautiful design, the new building is 100% eco-friendly. So here we have besides plus the ing verb having. There you go, quite a few things for you to remember in terms of structure. If it's a bit confusing, don't worry. Move on to the next lecture, the things to note, and then the listening and speaking practice exercises will make everything much clearer for you. So listen and repeat after me. Download the MP3s, listen as much as you can, and this will help you to master these grammar points. See you in the next lecture.